Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. I've got you guys an update on a massive severe weather outbreak that could impact the central and eastern United States, as well as a very active stretch of weather that's going to be coming upon us as we get into the first week of April. I've got all the details coming right up. All right, so thank you all for joining me here on this Friday morning. We have a lot to talk about in this video. We're going to be breaking down this upcoming severe threat, as well as what we could expect going forward into our Easter weekend, and also what we could see going forward into the first week of April. All right, so happy Good Friday today. It's going to be a very active stretch of weather, but luckily this will not be impacting. Most likely, this will not be impacting those of you that are traveling for Easter weekend, but these big storms are right on Easter's heels, and we're really going to have to break these down quickly because the time frame for these storms is rapidly approaching. All right, so starting out with your current radar, you don't have much going on, although you do have a pretty big coastal low that has moved off the coast of the Northeast. Now, it still brings some light to moderate rainfall on the Massachusetts coastline, still bring kind of a soggy, wet rain for our folks up into New England on the coastline. But everyone else is kind of hanging in there with some cold air that's in place, so a little bit chillier weather. In the northern tier of the country, you actually do have a band of snowfall from a upper level low that's moving through the Dakotas. That should drop only a few inches of snow, nothing that you really need to make mention of as far as that goes. And then you do have a decent storm system out here into California, and there's a lot of different moving pieces that are going to put together to make this big upcoming storm system. So this could be one of them. We're just gonna have to break everything down and see what this is going to do. But yeah, that's pretty much the story that we've got going on at the moment. All right. As far as alerts go, nothing too crazy. You could start out in the Northeast, where we do have minimized counties now that are under flood watches. We used to have a big chunk of the New England coastline, but now it's only the coastline of Maine here in the green shade where we have the flood watches. We got winter weather advisories going out for northern Maine in the purple shade. That's also for the Dakotas. You can see with that band of snow that we saw moving through. Well, there it is. This is also going out for northern Wisconsin. So anybody in the purple shade, you're under a winter weather advisory. Or you have red flag warnings going out for the panhandle of Texas, kind of the drylands of western Texas, also including eastern New Mexico in that red shade. So pretty critical fire danger today. But this is pretty interesting. You have wind advisories for the storm that's impacting California right now. You have for the Sierras and the mountains, you have winter storm warnings in the pink shade, and then you got wind advisories in the tan shade with gusts that could get up to maybe 55, maybe even close to 60 miles per hour. So very gusty winds, and that's probably going to be where we're going to see the most hazardous weather. It's probably going to be in California, but it's not going to be the biggest storm you've ever seen. It's not anything that's too bad. So just make sure you're staying safe out there and staying weather aware. And that's going to be pretty much it. So let's get going here on your Easter Sunday forecast. We are only one day away from the beginning of Easter weekend, which will start tomorrow, Saturday. All right. So today is your Good Friday. So let's get this rocking rolling. This is as of 2 p.m. today. What we'll have is clearing skies with cold, chilly air. Kind of spilling into the Northeast, but look at this. You got a ridge that's starting to build up in the north central United States. Because you have high pressure here, you're going to see this low kind of get blocked from doing much, I would say, or this high pressure here. All right, so this will actually help people stay dry on Easter. So this is what the story's going to be today. This is your big trough that's digging down and moving through California on the west coast. But here we go, and that low pressure starts to move north, and so we're getting to 8 a.m. tomorrow. This is your Saturday morning. You're going to be waking up to some pretty soggy conditions, unfortunately, in the Midwest, with some snow up towards the UP of Michigan, towards the U.S. Canada border. But you got a big storm coming onto California. Actually, I don't want to say a big storm, but you've got a storm system that's moving onshore on California there. That's going to be what you're waking up to by tomorrow morning. This is tomorrow afternoon. That low advances, and this could bring some rainy weather into the interior Northeast with high pressure and cold air kind of staying north. and your jet stream doesn't look that active right now. You got pretty much a zonal flow, but this trough is really going to cause some trouble later in the week. All right. So now let's skip ahead to 8 a.m. Easter Sunday. Here we go. And look at this. Your skies are clearing out here in the eastern United States. Gorgeous weather. But gosh, it's in the south, in the southern United States, it's going to be perfect weather. You got a high pressure system that's blocking all the storms, and you're just going to have much warmer weather, and you're going to have sunny skies. Perfect Easter Sunday for you guys out there. And even up in the Northeast, maybe a bit chilly the farther north you go, but still looks like skies will be mostly clear, maybe a stray shower in the morning. It's the western United States. It's a little bit messy. You got a 998 millibar low that brings some rain and snow through the western United States. Some rain and snow possible up and around the north central United States, maybe even a stray shower in the Ohio Valley. But Easter Sunday is not looking too bad, honestly. But this is when things get crazy, and we'll talk about this time frame in just a bit. All right, so we looked at your precipitation. Now let's look at your temperature forecast. So this is for your Good Friday. These are your forecast highs. You could see we're getting up to the 70s and 60s. Gorgeous day out here for the southern United States. Northern tier of the country are in the 40s, 50s, and even in the 30s. So pretty chilly if you're farther north, but there's a big ridge that's starting to build up, and you can definitely see on the temperature map getting into the 70s if you're farther south, into the upper 60s farther north. Very beautiful day. We'll get into tomorrow's forecast high. They're not the higher temperatures don't go as high as far north, but they get pretty high here, almost spiking to 80 degrees out here into Oklahoma. Very high, and just warm conditions, maybe even hot down here into Texas. But 80s and 70s for everybody in the southern United States. Starting to warm up a little bit for like the lower Midwest, the Northeast. Those of you in the western United States, I'm sorry. I know, everybody hates, wet and cold weather, but it looks like that's going to be the case. You're going to be dealing with 40s and 50s with mostly rainy, cloudy, or snowy conditions depending on your exact location. But yeah, that will continue throughout the Easter weekend. And here we go. Easter Sunday forecast highs. Like I said, gorgeous conditions out there in the southern United States. Look at the southeast. You're in the 70s widespread, almost 80 degrees in central Texas. And remember, it is mostly sunny out here, so beautiful day for like an outdoor party or something, but great day to celebrate Easter. And then even on the northeast coastline, you may get up to the mid to upper 50s, maybe even around 60 degrees towards New Jersey, Long Island, New York City. The western United States, you're going to be pretty chilly and wet. Same thing for the upper Midwest, the north central United States. But yeah, these are your Easter highs, and I think that the region that's going to get the nicest weather is certainly going to be the southeastern United States, because once again, you have high pressure that's going to block any rain shower to move through. You have gorgeous sunny weather, and you've got the very warm temperatures. What else could you ask for? I think it's going to be great. All right. So, we gotta move on from that time frame. We've got a major storm system that's coming through. All right, we have a lot to talk about with new information coming in, and here we go. All right, so this here is April 1st. This is for your Monday. And the SBC that we're going to be looking at, the outlook from the SBC is going to be the day 4 and the day 5 that we're going to be looking at. And so this would be for our day 4. This is for Monday. This is that low that's moving from California. This is that big trough that's moving in. Well, look at this. This starts to situate here, and this gets very intense, and boom. Already by 8 p.m., this is an overnight threat on Monday. This is Monday into Tuesday. This is when we start seeing an uptick in severe weather. We could see a lot of thunderstorm activity, a lot of convection, and maybe even somewhat severe threat out there into Missouri, into Kansas, into Iowa, and Nebraska. That's something to look out for. That's right by this low pressure center. So you're not seeing that classic comma-shaped, negatively tilted trough yet. But I'm telling you guys, with these isobars that are rising up into the storm, the moisture return is probably going to be very big, as the storm system will be strengthening as it continues on. But look at these reds and oranges. This is where you see the severe weather. man, the GFS is putting this down farther north. This is going up towards Missouri, into southern Illinois, even into even into south central Iowa. So very far north severe threat with this. And this is already for 2 a.m. Thursday, or sorry, 2 a.m. Tuesday, and this is getting to Tuesday morning. This is when things could get very intense over Ohio and Indiana, where we have a very strong, a strengthening 993 millibar load. This will be a strengthening system, but it's pulling up on that jet stream, and this actually looks exactly like what a classic May La Nina jet stream looks like, and this is a good example of what we may be dealing with as we get into the rest of the spring. I think I said this is a classic May jet stream look like. This is what you usually see just during spring overall, during a La Nina, and this kind of just reflects on what pattern we actually will be dealing with overall for the entire spring. All right, but you got severe weather that's really across the Ohio Valley, the lower Midwest. You got snow, very heavy snow on the northwestern side of the low pressure center. This is dropping very, very heavy snow, intense snow over portions of Iowa. That's something to look out for. And then we get to Tuesday afternoon, and this severe threat will start to die down. But even still, a strong severe storm is looking possible for northern places like northern PA and maybe even to southern New York State. It's possible because this will be such a widespread severe threat. And then you see some thunderstorm activity down in the Dixie Alley before the system wraps up and this gets out. But you can see it's so strong because it's pulling. Look at the jet stream change. We'll take a look at Easter Sunday. 2 p.m. We have a zonal flow except for this huge trough that's digging down. That's the whole storm system and what's basically what's causing it. And look at what happens after the storm system moves out. You have a massive dip in the jet stream. You went from a zonal flow, which basically means that the jet stream it's pretty, just like it's regular. It doesn't have any bumps, it doesn't have any dips or anything. But look at this. You have a huge ridge, a massive ridge. Voice crack. You have a massive ridge that's pulling up so much moisture, this is going to be causing a big storm system with the low pressure farther north. But you also do have extreme cold air. I shouldn't say extreme cold air, but much, below average temperatures are going to be sinking down into the northeastern United States on the backside of the system. So you just go from a zonal flow to a very, very intense jet stream pattern in the matter of 48 hours. That is insane. I mean, just a huge difference there. We get full swing into a very active pattern on the backside of that system. This starts to really, kind of burst. And this gets down to a 977 millibar low pressure. That could be overdone, but that's interesting because this could be a bomb cyclone. It's possible. A bomb cyclone for Nova Scotia. Now, luckily, this won't be dropping. It looks like on the GFS, this won't be dropping feet of snow, but you get a period of heavy snow for places maybe even towards Newfoundland. So I would watch out for that. We get to a 969 millibar low. That is insane for this time of the year. You usually do not see these kind of systems kind of just bomb out like this. Could this be a late season snowstorm for you guys into Maine, into Nova Scotia? Maybe even into Newfoundland. It's possible. All right, we'll just have to look at what the GFS and other models are saying about that. But man, that is crazy. And then what's happening behind that? Well, you get a lot of pieces of energy that fly around, another big trough barreling through. You can still have that very active jet stream pattern with just a ton of ridges that are forming out here in the eastern and central United States. This is going to bring unseasonably warm conditions for everybody. Now everyone's going to probably be in the 70s. Let's look at these temperatures. Yeah, this is 8 p.m., so this is nighttime. This is overnight hours, and you're getting into the 70s for people in the northern tier of the country. That is crazy. All right, so almost well into the 70s is, possible, and this is one day after the eclipse. So after this major storm system that's going to move through, I think you're going to get a period of extremely above average temperatures in the central and eastern United States. Meanwhile, the West, dealing with all these troughs that will be coming through, you're probably going to stay much colder than average and struggling to get above 40 degrees, which is much cooler than you're supposed to be this time of the year. So pretty active pattern, pretty unsettling pattern that we're going to be full swing into after or once we get through this upcoming major storm system. All right. So we just looked at the GFS outlook for that. Now let's look at the thermodynamics for this. We'll break it down. We'll look at thermodynamics and dynamics. This is the European model for your dew point. And look at this. You have a huge moisture return, and we're seeing dew points already getting up to the 60s, lower to mid 60s throughout the south central United States, even in the entire southeastern, the upper 50s for dew points. That's certainly enough to cause some severe weather, and you can see that dew points don't get that high, that far north, but they get very high. We're almost at 70-degree dew points here. That's going to definitely support severe weather. But you look at the SPC, and the SPC kind of has a severe threat to, I would say, to the north and west of where the highest dew points are. So once again, this may not be a completely, thermodynamic focused storm system. The thermodynamics may not be the highest, the biggest component to the system in terms of how much severe or, how intense the severe threat will be. All right, so now we look at the dynamics. We're looking at the 500 millibar jet stream winds. We're looking at kind of just how intense our low-level jet is going to be. And when you have an intense lower-level jet, you're talking about tornadoes, and you're talking about damaging wind gusts. Obviously, damaging wind gusts will be a big thing with the system if you get the intense jet stream. And here it is. You got a massive trough. I mean, I'm telling you guys, this trough is going to be gigantic, very, very strong. I'm looking at this. I'm already worried about this. You're already getting like a shortwave. I would say maybe even a shortwave trough that's kind of, ejecting across the southern plains. I would watch out for that, and you can see that, this is your ridge right here. This is your moisture return, but man, that trough is just massive, absolutely massive. This is Tuesday. It's looking like Tuesday may be the bigger threat for tornadoes potentially. All right, because you can see that we have the very strong trough, but this dry line is starting to try and kill that severe threat. But you can see that we're seeing winds, 500 up at the 500 millibar wind speeds here, around 80 to 90 knots. That's definitely strong enough to spark severe weather, but it's just for such a widespread area. And then even a Monday where the highest severe threat may be, you're still getting decent winds. All right, let's put this to Monday. Yeah, you got like 50 to 60, 50 to 60 knot wind speeds here. So it's going to be a tricky forecast because the SPC, I think, does not agree with what we're seeing with the winds. And I'll tell you why in a minute. All right, but we'll continue into Tuesday, and you can see that the northern branch jet stream actually connects to this, and this is why we get that huge deepening. This is your trough moving through, but you have a humongous dip in the jet stream. This is crazy. The two jet streams will merge, and this will bring in an incredibly strong lower level jet for the Carolinas here. 130 knots. That is insane. I mean, but this is your huge dip in the jet stream. This is all what's strengthening the storm system. I know this looks crazy, and it is crazy because the jet stream is out of this world. But all this going on here in the Northeast is what's really going to be causing the system to like bomb out over coastal Maine and Nova Scotia. And I mean, yeah, this just gets stupid strong, this jet stream here, and then that's pretty much it. All right, so very active 500 millibar jet stream looking likely, especially for Tuesday. And the dew points will be very high. So you put those two things together, and you'll also get shear with this. And once the high resolution models come out, once they go out to that time frame of the severe weather event, we'll be able to look at things like shear. We'll look at CAPE, and we'll look at CAP. There's a lot of different things that will be in play for this severe weather risk, and I'm sure that those will look much more impressive if these don't look the best possible, because look at this. All right, this is the day 4 outlook. This was just upgraded to a 30% enhanced risk for severe weather. This is including eastern Oklahoma up through southern and central Missouri. My goodness, is that insane? That is a day 4 enhanced risk. So once this goes to the day 3, by tomorrow morning, you will see this be an enhanced risk for severe weather, and it will have 3 days to be upgraded. And there's only 2 more spots up to a high risk. I'm not saying I'm not saying that we're necessarily going to get up to a high risk. That's very, I wouldn't say it's very unlikely, but it's very rare to get up to a high risk. But I'm just saying that this is the fact that we already have an enhanced risk this early means we have enough time for this to be upgraded. But this is a 30% enhanced risk day 4. This is for Monday. You have Tulsa, Oklahoma, Springfield, Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I believe St. Louis, Missouri is actually just on the side or just inside of this 30% enhanced risk. This is a very, very intense enhanced risk, and I'm telling you guys, I think the last time we had this setup, I'm just saying this for past, recent outbreaks, or recent severe weather events, but we did have a 30% enhanced risk. Last time we had that was the March 31st the March 31st high risk severe weather outbreak. I'm not saying that this is going to be that intense because we don't know that yet, but I can tell you something significant is happening for Monday and for Tuesday of next week. All right, but this is for the surrounding areas as well. You have a concerning 15% slight risk that is huge, and that's including areas of Texas all the way up through really, you know, areas to the west of the Ohio River Valley up towards the lower Midwest. Man, I mean, you've got a pretty massive area with a total population of over 28 million people, including Dallas, Texas, Indianapolis, Indiana, Fort Worth, Texas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Kansas City, Missouri. All right? So you may think, oh my gosh, how are we going to get through that day? Well, you have another slight risk. All right, and this is probably for equally big area, and this is including the Mid-Atlantic. So the first time in like what seems like years, we're gonna see a pretty far north and off to the east, like a north, not I wouldn't say a northeast severe threat, but a Mid-Atlantic severe threat, and it's a real chance. You already have a slight 15% risk 5 days out. All right. And this is including areas from northern Alabama all the way up through the Tennessee Valley and then into the Mid-Atlantic and the Delmarva region. And I mean, this is including a very highly populated area of over 33 million people, including Columbus, Ohio, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Nashville, Tennessee, and Cincinnati, Ohio. All right. So, could this get upgraded to a 30% risk? I think it's possible. I don't think it's likely, but it is possible. All right, we're gonna have to watch this as well. Don't ignore this. Even though you're in a place that doesn't usually get severe weather that bad, and especially this time of the year, all right, don't ignore this. All right, it is spring. We're getting to that that peak of severe weather season. April tends to be very active, and then May is equally as active, if not higher. All right, so there will be some more names that will be coming into play with these severe weather events, and they will be farther north. I'm telling you guys, we will work our way farther north as we warm up, as we get into spring. All the pieces are coming together for severe weather season to make a rebound, but we're going to leave it at that for today. And we just got to make sure that we're nailing down every single piece of energy or every single new piece of information that we get on the system to try and figure out where exactly the severe threat will be highest and how high and how intense will the severe weather event be. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today. All right, have a good Holy Week. Just make sure that you're going to Mass today on Good Friday. Today's a very, very big day spiritually for Catholics. Even if you're not Catholic, just think about going to a Catholic Mass. All right, because there is a very, very big meaning of Good Friday. It's when Jesus was crucified on the cross, and that's the whole reason why we're here. And Jesus is our Savior. So please, please, just think about what Holy Week really is, and also just make sure that you're what Easter's really about, and not only for the kids that it's fun, but just make sure that you understand why we celebrate Easter and Holy Week. So have a blessed Easter, have a blessed weekend. I'm gonna be very busy this weekend, so I probably won't be able to get to you guys. But if the next time we meet is gonna be Monday, well, we're gonna have to see what we end up with at that time frame. But once again, have a blessed Easter, have a amazing weekend, and I'll see you guys next video.